What is up? Welcome back to Be Unexpected with Wyatt and Jake. Today we are talking with Jake. We're interviewing Jake and learning about what it was like for him in his athletic career and the successes he had, but also the adversity he faced and injuries. And I'm just excited to get to know like your athletic career, Jake, because I mean you're a pretty humble guy, but I think you were like one of the best athletes in your class and in the school when we were growing up.
Yeah, I enjoyed football and basketball growing up, and I was always bigger than everyone when in like JC football or flag football or YMCA basketball. So I will say, when I was younger and leading up, it was fun, a lot of fun because I could dominate everyone. Because I remember in JC football, there was a weight limit; you had to wear the red tape, and I was like 2 pounds below it. So that was a fun part of in athletics, just being bigger than everyone. We are little.
Yeah, I remember like did you play like running back right away?
Yeah, I don't think I ever played offensive lineman or like center or anything. I always I think we played wing back or wide receiver.
Okay. Because
Yeah.
I just remember like people saying like, yeah, like Jake Burnside, he's a big kid and he's having to carry the ball and stuff.
Yeah.
And it's like if you were big and you didn't have to play line, then it's like, oh, we're just gonna make
Yeah.
that guy a running back.
Yeah. And then as a fourth, fifth grade, sixth grade, you don't really have to have a super lot of technique. What do? You just run everyone over.
Yeah. It's like we never I don't think no one really threw the ball.
Yeah.
Like you may threw like 5 to 6 passes, but it was always like just put your best two players in the backfield and hand them the ball.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
like in basketball, did you play center then because you were bigger?
Yeah, I think I played center, forward or center, but yeah, I was always for the five. So you got the one, two, three, four, and five. So I was
Yeah.
always the five in marksman, in YMCA basketball, and then I played night hoops too, for
Oh
with the
yeah. Oh yeah, I
Bergen,
remember
the
that.
Catholic school. So I
Yeah.
remember like Hunter and Corby and we played marksman and we played night hoops. Which now looking at it, I don't know why they let us do both. You're playing for
Yeah.
Fremont and Bergen, but
Yeah, I remember Wes playing night hoops and like they played in the YMCA league, but
mhm,
they like killed everybody.
yeah.
And it's like, why are they playing in the YMCA league? Like
Yeah.
these guys are like the best of the best. And like I was on a different team, but we were like mediocre.
Yeah.
And yeah, I just remember that. And
We would go to like West Point, Sioux City, Norfolk, just not your like Omaha, Sioux Falls, Kansas City kind of things. It was just smaller schools tournament. So it was kind of fun.
yeah, definitely. And we were on a base. We played baseball because we were on a team together. I
Yep.
remember.
Fremont
And
lock and key, I think, for Parks and Rec baseball.
yeah, remember people got mad at us 'cause we would blow teams
Dude,
out.
dude, we were so good. I remember like, Jay Thayer and like me, you, I think like Elliot and Court, like we were so good. We would, and it was Parks and Rec too. So we would just dominate, run rule everyone. And the
Yeah,
parents of the other teams weren't happy. Like, this is rec league. Like, oh, we're just kicking your butt.
yeah. And our coach even told us like, don't score right away, otherwise we get to play a short game.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well,
Do you
like
guys want to play the whole game? Well, take it easy.
I remember like I think the parents got mad at like our parents got mad at us. We it looked like we weren't
Yeah.
trying at all. But it was
Yeah.
like our coach told us like not to, so we could play the whole game because it was like
Exactly.
you
Yeah.
10 run them, you were done by the fifth inning or
Yeah.
something. And
Yeah.
so,
That was
but yeah, that
fun.
was. But you never were a big fan of baseball, right? Like
Yeah.
that was
So
it for you, right?
yeah, that was it for it was baseball, like Parks and Rec. That's as far as it went. I think the last year was maybe fifth grade, and then it
Okay.
was just basketball and football from there. So I never really got into baseball.
Yeah. Did your parents ever just put you like in a random sport just so you could do something? Like, like in your five, you play soccer or whatever?
Yeah, I think I remember right, and I don't know if you or Russ were involved. I did soccer at the YMCA indoors when I was
Okay.
younger, but they never. I don't know. It's probably because my dad didn't like. He wasn't a huge soccer fan. It was
Uh-huh.
probably just something that they could go to and see other parents and get out of the house. But yeah, it was soccer, and then that was the last time I played soccer.
Yeah, I feel like that's kind of the thing to do. You just put them in soccer so they
Yeah,
see what athletics is like, and
yeah,
then they either like it or they don't. I
yeah. And it's
mean,
an excuse for the parents to get out and see other parents other than just changing diapers and wiping butts and stuff.
yeah, it's social, man. Like,
Yeah,
I just gonna put you in this so I can talk to my friends.
Yeah. And
But
have someone else babysitter watch you for an hour.
yeah.
Yeah.
So you got into like football and basketball, and would you say football was kind of the more dominant sport that you liked? Like you liked football the most or basketball?
Yeah, I think the reason I liked football the most is because um yeah, it was just more of a I enjoyed the more of the contact sport growing up, and like we said earlier, I was bigger than everyone, so it's more fun in football, like and bigger in basketball matters too, but when you're bigger in football, when you're younger, you can literally just dominate, like I said. So, and a lot of more of my friends, a lot more people played football, and it was just the football environment was just cool growing up. You know, I loved going to Husker games on Saturdays
Mhm.
and then playing JC football on Sundays, and so just probably the being a Husker football fan is the reason why growing up it was mostly all right. Got the big Husker game on Saturday, and then JC football on Sunday. Oh, we go to church, and then after church you got lunch, and then in the afternoon you got JC football. So that was probably
Oh yeah, definitely.
it.
I remember like there was always just the three times you play like
Yep.
12, 3 or 4 or something like that.
Yeah, there's the three
And
games. Yeah.
yeah, and so that was always really fun.
Yeah,
But
that was.
is there a player you really looked up to on the Nebraska team or in the NFL that you tried to like kind of uh get your game after, like watch their film or whatever?
Yeah, I was just for Nebraska. I'm trying to think. The first like remembrance of Husker football of me was like Eric Crouch and Joe Daly and then like Fabian Washington and Corey Ross. But then when I really was a little older, I think I was probably like late elementary, early middle school, was like Joe Ganz and Nate Swift and like Maurice
Yes.
Purify and those guys. So I just loved watching them, and I just loved watching Joe Ganz because he was your not your stereotypical quarterback. He was like 5'11, not super athletic, but could sling it. So probably I'd say Joe Ganz and those
Yeah.
guys.
Joe Gans and Zach Taylor was good. I
Zach Taylor,
remember.
yeah, that those trying to think, and then leading up into the Roy Halou and Taylor
Yeah.
Martinez, but more of like when I was younger, I'd probably say
Right.
Eric Crouch and those guys.
Yeah, definitely. Eric Crouch was.
Yeah,
Yeah, have you when you look up Eric Crouch's like highlights, most of it's like running.
yeah, he's fun to watch. Like Nebraska needs another quarterback because he could. I remember there's that one play where didn't he flip it out and then he went and caught a pass.
Yeah, yeah.
But then, yeah, they're mostly running highlights. There's not. I mean, he could throw it, but not. He's more of a good runner.
Yeah, I mean, he was. I mean, he won the Heisman, like you said, and then
Yeah,
um, the other good ones, obviously, like Tommy Frazier and
yeah,
all those guys. Like just watching, I think like too, like your dad probably you watch the games with your dad all the time when you're
yeah,
really young. Yeah, I think it's like your dad getting into it.
yeah,
Like you want to be like your dad when you're growing up, and
yeah,
well, I like football too. I like
yeah.
Nebraska, but I liked. Did you like was it Marlou or Lucky the
Oh,
running
Marlon Lucky, yeah.
Marlin? Yeah,
I uh
I really liked him.
I had a jersey. You know those ones at Walmart that you can get
Hmm.
the number, but you don't really they don't say anything on the back. So when I was little, I got the number 5, and then with permanent marker, my great handwriting, I wrote Lucky on the back.
Oh, that's
I wish
awesome.
I had it. It's a white jersey. I don't know. My mom has it, but I
Oh
remember
yeah,
that.
yeah, dude. I remember he even switched his number because he was like 21 year, and then he switched to 5.
Yeah,
But I just remember
that's right.
him
Yeah.
and Zach Taylor. Those were good. But yeah, I mean, growing up, you had Nebraska football, and then did you have a favorite basketball team growing up?
I would probably say I enjoyed like college athletics. So I enjoyed going to those Nebraska basketball games at the Devaney. I was there when they beat Texas when Texas was number one. Um, and seeing all those guys, I remember like Lance Cheater, Cookie Miller for Nebraska basketball. But in the NBA wise, I am still a Dwayne Wade, the Heat. So I like the Heat. I will claim I liked the Heat before LeBron and Chris Bosh came. So I
Yeah,
liked
because
the
you're
Heat when
Dwayne
they
Wade
had
fan, right?
Dwayne Wade,
So
was it Alonzo Mourning,
yeah.
and those guys. But I still followed them when LeBron came. But I'm gonna come out and say I was a Dwayne Wade Heat fan before LeBron came.
Did you still root for the Heat when LeBron came? I mean, you
Yeah,
should. I
I
mean,
did, but I wasn't like, yeah. So when they won, I was like, oh, so awesome. but I still did root for him.
Yeah, I mean, Wade's still on the team, so
Yeah.
it's like, but
And when they, especially as Wade got older, he wasn't the same player, but when his early years, when they called him, was it Flash?
yeah.
Yeah. Coming out of Marquette. So he was so fun to watch.
Oh my gosh, like he would make like some shots, like he just would cross half court and then just let it go, and he's like, I
Hmm.
just remember that being a buzzer beater one time. It's like, oh
Yeah.
my gosh,
Yeah. Yeah. So he was kind of the first like big player for me to see grow up. And now you have so many people, players from Clinton, that stuff.
yeah. Um, did you watch the 30 for 30 that came out on him when it came out? Is it like,
Huh. I
oh,
don't think
you've
I
never
have.
seen it?
I
There's a
don't think
30 for
so.
30 just on Dwayne Wade. You
Really.
gotta watch it.
Huh.
But
Is it
uh,
his transition from like high school to college, college to NBA?
yeah, it's like his whole life because he grew up
Oh,
in Chicago
yep, that's
and
right.
then he struggles through his life and
Yeah.
like he was like I think academically ineligible the first year of college or something.
He
Yeah,
did he go 4 years at Marquette?
I think three.
Three.
He went three because after the year they made the Final Four, then he went to
That's
the
right.
NBA.
Yep.
So yeah,
Yeah.
so you got Dwayne Wade as your favorite Nebraska football. What was your ultimate like sports dream when growing
Mm.
up? Like college, like here's where I want to go to play college ball, and then here's like I'm gonna go pro because we all have like when you're in elementary school, you don't think you're
Yeah.
not gonna go to the
Yeah.
like to the pros. So
Yeah.
what was your like dream?
Yeah. I think when you're in elementary school, I don't think there's anything that's you're thinking, oh, I'm not gonna play in college or I'm not gonna go to the NFL. But when I was younger, kind of going back to what I said, I always just thought you could just go to Nebraska football and just play, even if like, oh, I'm gonna be a Nebraska football player. There's no
Mhm.
like it's
Yeah,
gonna happen. You don't think, okay, you gotta work hard, you gotta be the strong, you gotta have these skills, academics. So I just thought you could, okay, I'm a football player and I'm gonna go to Nebraska. So I always dreamed of going to Nebraska, sitting in the stands when I was younger and
nice.
playing football. So yeah, I'd probably say my dream was to go to play football at Nebraska. I don't know, when I was in little, I never NFL or NBA or whatever. I wasn't thinking I was gonna go there. It was just Nebraska football. Not that saying that like, I was realistic. I guess didn't really think that could happen. I don't know.
Honestly, yeah. I mean, like I feel like anyway, like that's kind of like your dream. Like I did the same thing. Like yeah, I thought about you thinking about playing maybe pro basketball or pro baseball, but it's like yeah, football. I just thought Nebraska.
Yep. Like
I mean,
it's gonna happen. But then as you get into middle school and then high school, and then you start to realize, wow, there's some damn good athletes out in Omaha and Lincoln. Shoot, that's not even it. So yeah, I think it kind of hit me more as I got into middle school.
when did you like? When did you know like whether you maybe you would play for Nebraska or not, but you knew you could play college sports? Like, was it in middle school or beginning of high school? You thought like I'm gonna play college football or
Yeah, I'd probably say maybe going into high school before I broke my leg. I thought it was
Mhm.
just realistic. I wasn't super tiny, super big, a 6 foot. Um, I figured, I could at least go play at Midland or Morningside and nothing. It's like that would have been awesome too. But I just thought, okay, it's realistic. I can go play NAIA or go to UNK. So I just thought that was more realistic and something I wanted to do when I got into high school.
yeah. And I think people don't realize like college sports is college sports.
Yeah.
Like, I
Yeah.
hated like there were guys that we went to school with like, well, if I don't go play D1, I'm not gonna go play. It's like,
Yep.
why not? Like
Yep.
it's still college sports, or like I think it was more like D2. If they didn't play D2, it was like, dude, NAI is still good. Like
Yeah. I
and like
remember
Division 3, I don't blame them because they don't give you scholarships, but
Yeah, I
yeah.
remember going into, was it freshman year? And it's
Mhm.
when so those guys had just graduated that were going to play at college. So it's probably playing with some kids and playing college, and I was just super humbled. I thought I was a good athlete going in high school, and these kids are going to play college at Midland, Morningside, and up in Minnesota. And it's just like, wow, this is a whole nother level. So yeah, college basketball is at any level is a whole different ball game than high school.
Oh yeah. I mean I feel like just like the transition. I remember my brother telling me Right, he played NAI,
Hmm.
like just like you said, big transition, and it's faster and stronger.
Yep,
And did you start
that's
lifting
huge.
weights like in middle school then,
I
or
think it
high
was
school?
more like going into freshman. I think the real like an actual program was going into freshman year for football
Okay.
when they we do the summer lifting program with the football team a couple days a week in the morning. So I
Hmm.
think I probably joked around in middle school, like going to the weight room and just like doing curls or just doing
Yeah.
something dumb or stupid. But I think the actual first time like weights became serious was probably going into freshman year.
So you go into freshman year, and uh, you started on the freshman team right at quarterback, right?
Yeah, I
Yeah.
played
So
quarterback.
what you remember what you guys were you guys pretty good or mediocre? Or...
Yeah, I think we were mediocre. I don't remember. I want to say, we went like 3-3 or 4-4. So I
Okay.
do remember winning games. I like Lincoln High and Lincoln Southwest or Southeast or Norfolk. So I do. We were decent. We weren't off. We didn't not win any games. So we were mediocre.
Did you have a game your freshman year that was just like, wow, I can't believe I played that well. Like it
Yeah,
was just
there's
like
probably
kind
a
of
couple. I don't know if one specific game, but I'm sure you can testify this for like when and you're playing football with Special Olympics and you throw a touchdown and it's like a longer pass and it was a good pass and they caught it. And it's just like, wow, holy cow. Like I just did that and they scored a touchdown. It's a pretty cool feeling. So I don't know, remember if it's one specific game, but just like stepping back in the pocket and then just throwing a touchdown is like, wow, no one can touch me now.
yeah, dude. I mean, I don't care whether it's tackle or like play flag. Like it's like an incredible feeling. Like to
Yeah.
know that you're the guy that's got the arm
Yeah.
and you're the leader. Like you're playing like middle school football and then freshman football that really teach you how to like lead and become a leader.
Yeah, it is. And it's kind of being even at whatever level you play football, whether that's JC football, middle school, high school, and a college. I think playing quarterback is a very humbling position because where's everyone gonna look? They look in the huddle to you when there's a play and you change the play at the line. Where do they look to you when there's an issue? Where they look to you, and so that carries off onto like the sideline into practice and everywhere. So it is very humbling. People look to you for an answer when really you don't have a lot of answers, but it kind of makes you become more of a leader.
Yeah, definitely. So you go into your freshman year, you play good. Then your sophomore year comes and you're playing JV. And how many games did you play on JV before you got hurt?
Yeah, so I think it was the first, so maybe 4 games, four
Okay.
games. The fourth or fifth game is when I broke my leg. Yeah.
Do you remember the play?
Yep. We were playing Lincoln Southwest, and I don't, was it Coach Jennings or James or
Yeah, I
one of
think Jennings
the,
was the JV. I think
yep.
Jennings was JV.
So it would have been Coach Jennings, and we're on like the 3 yard line. And there wasn't a specific play. We played out of the gun. So, and then Juan Marta was the running back or fullback, and he was to my left. And the play call came in. It was just, hey, Jake, get the snap, take like a step back, and then Juan will follow Juan into the left side, right to the left of the center.
Hmm.
And so I do that, and I go to the left, and I go hit the center. Well, I step back, and then I don't know where Juan went, and so I look to the left, and Juan's gone. So I'm just like, oh shoot. So I just like you still try and punch it in, and then two Lincoln Southwest defenders, and one hits me high and one hits me low, and they twist me the opposite way, and my femur just snaps, like it
Oh,
sounded like a piece of wood, snapping.
oh,
And
wow.
so I lay there, and I'm just like, wow. And at first, like it obviously hurt, but
Yeah.
you're in shock. And then it's like, oh my gosh, it's so much pain. You could flip my leg upside down. Um, I remember Chelsea, the trainer, came out, and I think this was maybe her first year,
Hmm.
and she felt my leg, and yeah, I remember my dad coming on the field, and they bring the ambulance out, and then they take me off to the Fremont Hospital, where I'm there for 24 hours until they have the surgery. And I remember laying in bed and people coming to see me. I remember three of my friends came in. And I remember Hunter and Walling came in. Walling had a bucket, and I just missed the bucket and I puked all over him.
Oh,
So yeah, I
dang.
remember laying in the hospital bed and I could flip my leg up and like I could flip my kneecap to the complete opposite side.
What?
Yeah,
That's crazy.
it was pretty gross.
What did your dad say to you on the field? Just trying to calm
Um,
you down, or?
I don't think he said anything. I he was probably lost for it. I don't really remember him saying anything. I just
Mhm.
remember Chelsea, the trainer, saying, "Yep, it's broke." And in my mind, I was like, "What's broke? Like, is my leg broke? Is my femur broke?" And I didn't even
Yeah.
know what your femur was.
Oh yeah. I mean, it's like I mean, like, what was? So you felt pain obviously right away, but like, did you like? I mean, did you like at first? Did you think like, oh, my football career is over? Or do you think, oh, I'm just injured and I'll come back from this?
Yeah, when you get injured and you're a 16, 17-year-old kid, you just think, oh, like I'm gonna injure, I'm gonna heal, and then I'll come back. And that wasn't the case for this with my femur. So I had surgery in Fremont the next day, and there was no complications with the surgery or anything. Everything went perfectly fine.
Mhm.
Um, it went well, and then I was on in a wheelchair for a week and then crutches for a couple months. And so that happened in October. And then, come December, at that point, you're supposed to be making progress, going to physical therapy weekly. And I just wasn't getting stronger. It wasn't healing. And then come, December and January, they kind of expected me to not be fully practicing, but, be able to run up and down the basketball court,
Mhm.
be able to, play like half court, come towards the end of basketball season. I probably wasn't going to play at all. But, in February and March came and they're having me try to participate in drills. And I couldn't. My leg was, I hurt to run. It hurt to walk. You probably remember, I still limped around. I couldn't really move like I was supposed to
Oh
in
wow.
this recovery. And so we go and just we get a look from the doctor in Fremont and it wasn't healing right.
Oh wow.
So originally, and I don't know what went wrong, but it was the wrong size of rod, titanium rod in my leg.
Oh,
So we ended up going to Creighton to have it fixed and to put a new rod in my leg. So that happened in October. I was still limping around like in late May. I couldn't run. So,
wow.
at that point, you're supposed to be making progress, and I wasn't.
Dang. Like,
So I couldn't do basketball, and I couldn't do any drills. I couldn't do track. I couldn't get ready for football. And yeah, which led up to not my football career ending.
just because, wow, just because that rod.
Yeah.
That's really disappointing. Like, a bit like, were you pretty crushed by that for like a couple weeks, or how'd you feel?
Yeah, I was just frustrated, man, because as you've shared before, just sitting on the bench at the reserve and JV games
Mm,
and and you can't even practice, you can't play. You're not even close to playing. So you're just pissed. And it's as a 16-year-old kid and you got a lot of emotions and stuff. And so you're just mad. So it wasn't
yeah.
much of a joyful year. Like I still remember like having fun at school and with friends and laughing and stuff, but it
Yeah.
just and when basketball and sports are really all like your life and you have to cut it out, it's like where do you go? What do I do?
Yeah. And you were like the guy, one of the best guy, like athletes in your grade. So go from being on the top to now, like, you're like you said, you're on the bench, and I bet you weren't even used to that because you're like, I'm used
Yeah,
to starting. Like,
yeah.
and so like when your football career was over, like, well, first off, did they tell you your football career was over after the rod thing happened?
No, that wasn't really an option. As I know, we'll get into to more, but the
Yeah.
football career officially ended after the car accident.
Okay.
So
Yeah. So
at
you
that
couldn't play
time,
back.
yep. So at the time, it was just okay. It's going to heal. Do you want to play football? Do you want to risk
Yeah.
injury? Because at that point, my motives have changed more. I enjoyed basketball more. So I don't think before June, I was trying to heal back for basketball. I
Oh
was just
yeah.
trying to heal back to, dude, I just wanted to
Play
walk
anything.
and run again, you know?
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, um, so at that point, like just like going through the injury, like did you so you probably knew, like you said, like it didn't heal right. So like probably the end of basketball scene, like you expected to play. Like by January, right? Or
Right.
February?
Yep.
Wow.
So with football, yeah, I broke the leg, and I assumed I probably maybe was going to play at the end of basketball, but I assumed by
Mm,
the end of the basketball season, I was be able to practice with you guys and just to be at practice and stuff.
uh,
And then leading into, spring and then summer conditioning, I'll be back. And that was my plan, but that's not what really happened.
yeah. Did they say like what happened to you with the rod? Is that like really like that doesn't happen? The odds of that happening are like really small or something, or
Yeah, I'd assume they're pretty small. I mean, there's probably got to go a lot of factors into the size of rod. I mean, I'm guessing you put in.
yeah. Because you
I'm
don't
sure.
go in thinking like, oh, the rod's not gonna be good. You think like,
Yeah,
oh, they're gonna fix it, and
yeah,
dang, like
yeah,
that that's like just like the odds of that happening, like some everything happens for a reason, but still like you don't really go in you didn't go into the surgery thinking like, oh, I'm gonna have all these complications with a rod.
yeah, yeah,
But
yeah. You could even in March or in April, you could see the X-ray, and it should be decently healed, and you could still see the fracture in there. I was like, come
dang,
on, heal,
wow.
damn it.
That sucks.
Yeah,
That just had to be rough.
yeah.
Well, thanks for sharing your story, Jake. And we're gonna share more. Like Jake said, he's in a car accident. We're gonna share that. We'll share more on my story too as well. You can check out my episode as well as Jake's. And we're just trying to do this series of just about us and like what we've gone through and the reasoning behind why we started this podcast and like what we've gone through in our lives is a big deal of why we want to interview people that have gone through adversity and overcome it. Because Jake and I have both done the same, going through adversity, whether it's broken femur or dealing with cerebral palsy. So please stay tuned for more on Be Unexpected. You can check us out on the Be Unexpected YouTube channel at Be Unexpected. You can see us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Be Unexpected 100 Instagram page. So thanks for listening to Be Unexpected. See ya.
Later.